And hello, everyone. Good evening. A very happy Tuesday to you all. You know, Tuesday brings us to Storytime Night. And Storytime Night brings us currently to Blue Adept by Piers Anthony, Book 2 of the Apprentice Adept series. As always, if you have missed any of the previous chapters, you can check them out on my YouTube page, youtube.com/@SirArminius. I have all of Book 1. I have up through Chapter 9 of Book 2. I also have lots of other books that I have read out there on the YouTube channel for your listening enjoyment. You know what? I have not looked in a little while. Let's go and take a look really quick. What do I have out there? So let's see. I have A Spell for Chameleon. I have The Source of Magic. I have Castle Rugna. I have Trial Under Fire. The first three were Piers Anthony books. Trial Under Fire, Battletech book. I have Far Country, Battletech book. I have Split Infinity, which was the book 1 of this. I have Blue Adept, book 2. I also have The Winter of the World. That was a trilogy with the Anvil of Ice, the Forge in the Forest, and the Hammer of the Sun. So, quite a few books out there for your listening pleasure. I also have some one-offs, like The Gift of the Magi, The Elves and the Shoemaker. Let's see, what else? I think that's it. Well, we'll go with that's it for now. So, if you haven't gone to go check them out, make sure you do so, because, well, why wouldn't you? How much better could it be than sitting down and listening to your favorite narrator? Because I know I'm your favorite narrator. And if you just happen to be out driving, you're doing chores, anything else, hey, go listen to the books. As always, though, if you are enjoying the books, you can always pick up hard copies of these by going out to your local bookstore, Amazon, eBay, somewhere online, your local bookstore. A lot of these books are going to be available. A lot of what I've read are older books, but they may still be available or available to be ordered. Support your favorite authors by purchasing the books if you have enjoyed them. Or if you're just enjoying listening to me, hit those like buttons, those subscribes, those follows, the whatever it happens to be on whatever platform you happen to be on. Luckily, I have a nice ability to be able to stream on multiple platforms. Right now, I am on YouTube. I am on Twitch. I am on Kick. All out there to be listened to wherever you decide that you would like to go and catch my streams at. You can certainly check them out at any of those channels. I am able to do so because of the streaming software that I use, and that is Meld Studios. If you are a streamer and you haven't checked out Meld yet, make sure you get out there and check them out. It's a really awesome streaming platform that, well, I say streaming platform. It's it's an OBS. It's my streaming software, but it allows me to multi-stream to as many different platforms as I want, free of charge. Right now, they are having their Meld Studio Live AF Festival. And if you haven't checked that out, well, what are you waiting for? you've got to check that out. The Meld Studio Live AF helps promote, of course, Meld Studios, put together for you by streamers who do this. And that's not what I want. And they're giving away free stuff at the moment. Well, once again, who doesn't want free stuff? I know I like free stuff. Don't you like free stuff? And if you do want to check it out, I'm going to throw a link into the chat for you that you certainly can. Now, I will say this is not a sponsored stream. Meld is not asking me to go out here and do this. I'm doing this because I have really enjoyed using this software to be able to do it. And I want to be able to share with you guys if you happen to be a streamer as well. So anyways, that is enough about that. Let's talk a little bit about Blue Adept now. So I had a special stream on Saturday. I don't normally stream storytime streams on the weekends, although I may start doing them more often because I'm finding that I'm enjoying these a lot. They're a nice, soothing stream for me. I get to read to you guys. I get to practice my voiceover work and hopefully bring some fun to you guys as well. So I had a special stream on Saturday. So if you're a normal Tuesday watcher and you missed the chapters, again, available on YouTube for you. We did chapters 7, 8, and 9 because, well, they were shorter chapters. So let's talk a little bit about what happened in those chapters. So chapter 7, we basically got the story of what happened to Hulk. Hulk went back, he crossed the curtain. He went and talked to Sheen. He got the address for the Lady Blue on the Proton side. Her name over here was Bluette. He went to go and let her know that he was interested in dating her and getting to know her a little bit more. And turns out that Stile's mysterious enemy foresaw that could be a thing and decided to have something set in place to attack once that happened. So a rocket came in, it crashed into Bluette's dome. Hulk and Bluette tried to get away. The rocket was filled with nerve gas that knocked them out. Robots came, took them, brought them to a mine outside of any dome, put up a portable oxygen tank for them, and then basically Stile's enemy contacted them there and wanted to know more information. We find out that Stile's enemy is a woman and is a surf woman. So we find out all of this. Hulk is staying outside of the range of the holo pickup because they want Stile's enemy to think that she got Stile. Robots start to hurt Bluette. Hulk comes in, destroys one of them, and unfortunately was killed by the second one. And then the second one took off after Bluette. We don't know what happened from there. So Stile comes back, and he goes back across the curtain. He makes an oath to destroy his enemy once he finds out who it is, and he goes on a quest to find out who that enemy is. Knowing that it's a female, he's able to narrow it down a bit to the female adepts, because it has to be an adept. It has to be somebody who can cross the curtain. And so he first engages with White, finds out that White does her magic by symbols, not the right thing. Definitely not White. He gets away from White. him and Nasa go to the Brown Castle because they know the Brown Adept is a female. And turns out Brown Adept is master of the golems and is a child, not his enemy. That leaves, he's not entirely sure who until Brown tells him Red is the one who makes the amulets, and Red is also a female, even though he met Red as a male, in costume, of course. So now he knows that Red is his enemy. We get back over to the tourney again, because Stile is doing all of these things back and forth. He's having to be in Phaze and Proton back and forth. He is back for the tourney. At this point, he has won all of his matches except for one. He did lose a match in chance. Don't remember which chapter it was in. He lost it in there somewhere. And basically, he got up against a youth who was leaving the planet anyway. And just decided, hey, I'll enter the tournament. So entered the tournament, and he ended up getting outgridded, basically, and being brought into a one pull on a slot machine. The child got a better pull, wins. So then chapter 9, we get into, he is up against somebody whose name is Clef. And Clef, tells him, hey, look, I'm going to be honest. I am skilled in two areas. I'm skilled in music, and I'm skilled with the rapier. That kind of it. And they both agree that they're going to play, together across the grid. Neither of them want chance. Both of them are in danger when whoever loses this this round of the tourney is out. And so they decide that they're going to put it into music because Stile has been playing a lot of music. He feels good. So the category that Clef wanted, but allowed Stile to choose the instrument. And he chooses the harmonica because, of course, that's what he has been playing. He comes to find out that Clef is probably the most skilled musician on the planet with practically any instrument. And so they get into a competition, and basically the first round of the competition, there is an audience score and there is a computer score. The computer is looking for how close were you to 100% accuracy to the score of music. And the audience is, who does the audience like best? Well, Clef plays first. Stile realizes very quickly that he cannot match the technical expertise of Clef. So he says, you know what? I'm going to have to play for the audience score, which is how he plays anyways. And so he gets the audience involved in it, and the audience, they play the same music, but the audience loved his so much more than they loved Clef's. So it comes out to be a split. Stile's thinking, hey, we're going back to the grid. I'm going to play for something other than music, because damn, this guy is good. I can't be playing against him. But no, the computer decides that it is going to force them to play a duet. And this time there's going to be 3 basically groups of people judging. There's going to be the audience, there's going to be the computer, and there's going to be a panel of music experts. Well, in between, when Stile and Clef were talking, while they were assembling the panel of music experts, Clef asked how he got the audience score. What was it that he did? And Stile explained how it had to be, you had to bring the audience into it. It was really, you're putting the music out there and you're drawing them in. It's a participatory event. And so Clef takes that, and then they start the duet, and Clef is playing very much how he plays. He's playing very technically proficient. And Stile it starts playing to bring the audience into it. And then, so he's making slight deviations, knowing that there's no way he's winning the computer. Chances are he's not winning the music experts. Maybe he can get the audience. Clef gets the other two. So be it. That's what happens. But then Clef starts making deviations, and Stile has to straighten out and kind of play the music score and help to elevate Clef, because he's got to support the music because the music is so good. So he gets to the end of it and he's like, nah, Clef is playing my way better than I've ever played it. He's got all three. It's over. It's a done deal. He goes over to congratulate Clef afterwards. And one thing that gets announced is that this was the finest rendition of a musical piece on the harmonica in Proton history. Therefore, each, or whoever the loser was, is actually going to be granted a year of tenure because it was so good, and it's going in the archives. Which Stile's like, oh my God, I have another year. Holy crap, I can't believe it. He goes over to congratulate Clef, and they hear that the announcement. The audience votes for Clef. The computer votes for Clef. The music experts vote for Stile. Therefore, Stile is the winner. Because the computer and the audience were just advisory. The music experts actually made the decision. And Stile's like, that can't be. It doesn't make sense. There's a mistake. And Clef explains to him, it says, look, if I have never played that well in my life. I've never been that good. If I play a piece of music on an instrument, and then I play it on another piece of the same piece of music on another instrument, and I play it better, what was the difference? Well, it was the instrument. And he's like, Stile, I've played better with you than I've ever played solo. Therefore, the music experts knew it was you who made the difference. You who supported me and built me up, because otherwise I could not have played as well. I played like I always play. You elevated me. Therefore, they voted for you. Stile can't believe it, but sure enough, he is the winner. Now, one of the things Clef had told him was that not only was he a musician, but his preferred instrument was the flute. Suddenly it dawns on Stile, Bop! Oh my God, you are the best musician on the planet. You may be the foreordained. Wouldn't you love to play on a platinum flute? And Clef says, there's no way I could get a platinum flute. They're only made on Earth, and da-da-da-da-da. And Stile pulls out the platinum flute. Here you go. He plays it. He's like, I got to have this instrument. Okay, well, you're going to have to do weird things for it. Here's what's going to happen. So Clef brings him so Stile basically tells him that you've got to go to the little people. You got to do your thing there. Clef says, I'm all for it. I got to have this instrument. And that is where we are going to start our stream for today. We're only 20 minutes in, just got through the recap. That sounds about right. So, everybody, sit back, relax, and prepare to enjoy as we dive into our next session of the Blue Adept by Piers Anthony, starting with Chapter 10. As always, I do record these, so I will not chat with the audience during the reading, but in between chapters, I am open for comments, questions, anything else that you guys may have. And of course, you guys may talk to each other all throughout the thing. Ain't nobody stopping you. So here we go, everybody. Let's dive in to the next chapter. A hidden enemy, pitting red against blue, she repeated. Fool that I was, I queried not the identity of mine enemy, but only my 2-month fate And so the oracle answered not what I thought it did. The oracle betrayed me. I think so, Stile said. Yet there must be a true enemy to both thee and me. Let us make this further pact, that the one of us who survives this encounter shall seek that enemy, lest it pit other adepts against each other similarly in future. Agreed, she cried. We two are in too deep. We must settle in blood, but there is vengeance yet remaining for us each. Could it be another adept? Stile asked. He was not letting down his guard. But he did not expect an attack until this was worked out. Enemies could, it seemed, have common interests. He had operated in ignorance of the forces that moved against him for so long that he was determined to discover whatever truth he could. One who coveted thy power or mine? Unlikely. Most adepts cannot cross the curtain. I labored hard to cross myself, and paid a price others would not pay. I arranged to have mine other self dispatched. Then I crossed over and took her place, hoping to be designated the heir to our mother, the citizen. But the wretch designated another, an adoptee, and I had to take tenure and practice for the tourney. Stile was appalled at her methodology, but concealed it. Her mode had always been to do unto others before they did unto her. That was why she had struck at the Blue Adept. Probably her proton self had been conspiring to do the same to Red, and possibly Red was now trying to put Stile off guard so she could gain an advantage. Thou playest the game? That I do, excellently. And well I know thou art my most formidable opponent in the current tourney. I know not of thee on any ladder. Never did I enter any ladder until the final moment. I practiced privately in my Proton citizen mother's facilities. Even if the oracle referred to my defeating thee in the tourney, and thus destroying thy remaining chance for citizenship, Stile said slowly, I had 3 years' tenure remaining, and would not have entered this year's tourney but for thy intercession. The oracle betrayed me on many levels, it seems, she said. How right he had been to analyze the nature of the oracle's statements carefully. Yet the mischief of the oracle was only in its confusing answers. It did not initiate things. Someone must have taken this into account. But what a devious plot this was! Could anyone in Proton Frame seek revenge? A friend of thine other self, perhaps avenging her demise. She had no friends. She was like me. That was why she was disinherited. And no one knows she's gone. They think I'm her. That had been a neat operation. Someone in Phaze, then, unable to attack an adept here, so he interferes with thee there. Perhaps a vampire able to cross the curtain in human guise. Suddenly, Nasa wondered whether Nasa, now hovering behind him, would be able to cross the curtain in girl form. Had she ever tried it? Unicorns did not exist in Proton, but girls did. And if there was no girl parallel to, why send a robot to defend thee then? Why not simply send it to attack me? That's one expensive robot thou hast. For that value, it would have been easy to send a competent execution squad after me. It is as likely that the attack was directed at thee, at thy magic self, with protection sent to thy proton self, so that it could come after me. Food for thought. There is that, Stile agreed. The oracle must have known that, despite thy attack on the Blue Adept, his alternate self would find thee. The key seems to lie in the unknown party who sent the robot. Find that party, and we may be on the trail of the true enemy. There does seem to be more afoot here than merely my convenience or thy demise. The plot be too convoluted to account for these. That's for sure. It isn't much, but it will have to do. She raised her right hand. On thy mark. Get set. Go. End of truce. And she threw an object at him. Stile dodged the object. It looked like a small knife, a stiletto, which it could be. But it was also an amulet, and he didn't want to invoke it. It stuck in the wall behind him and remained there, a bomb awaiting detonation. Red threw another object. This one resembled a ball. When Stile dodged it, the thing bounced off the wall and settled to a stop near his feet. He was floating a few inches off the floor, since his flying spell remained in operation, so the ball did not touch him. She threw a third. It was like a beanbag, dropping dead behind him. But none of them could hurt him as long as he didn't invoke them. Then, Red invoked one herself. She held the amulet in her hand, spoke to it, and dropped it on the floor. It formed into a hissing snake with glistening fangs. Go for that man, she told it. The snake crawled rapidly toward him. Rather than flying upward as Red might want, Stile drew his sword and decapitated the reptile. Already she was activating another amulet, a bat. Stile did not want to kill it, because it might be a member of the vampire tribe, who had given him safe lodging for the night, a captive of the cruel adept, bound to do her bidding. Yet, if it attacked him, it did. Its little eyes gleamed insanely, and drops of viscous saliva fell from its teeth. It could be rabid, but there was no help for it. He had to use magic. Bat, scat, he sang. The bat vanished. But now the three inert amulets near him animated. One was turning into a demon resembling a goblin, growing larger each second. Another was hissing out some kind of greenish vapor, perhaps a toxic gas. The third was catching fire, becoming a veritable ball of flame. Stile could not ignore any of these. For the moment he floated clear of all three, but all were expanding, and there was not any great clearance, and the ceiling was festooned with amulets. If he flew high and banished them with his own spells, hell would break loose from that ceiling. Red had more amulets than Stile had immediately available spells, so this sequence could be disastrous. That was the disadvantage of bracing the adept in her own domain. Her power was overwhelming here. It would be better to deal with the three activated threats some other way. The Red Adept, smiling wickedly, was already throwing more amulets. Stile had either to act or to retreat, and to retreat would be tantamount to defeat, for he surely would have more trouble passing her defenses a second time. Now was the moment of decision. Nessa, who had been hovering as the firefly, shifted to mare form. She speared the demon on her horn, then shoved it into the green vapor. The demon screamed in agony, then expired. That was poison, all right. Nessa backed off, the demon still impaled on her horn. She did not dare touch the vapor with her non-magical flesh. Meanwhile, the ball of fire blazed fiercely, and it was floating up toward Stile. Stile had an inspiration. He began playing his harmonica. The music filled the room, summoning his magic. But he did not sing any spell. He just kept playing. He knew now that the music magic could have a certain effect itself without any specific spell, if he directed it with his mind. So he willed it to suppress other magic. If this had the force of new magic itself, the effect would be opposite, and he would be in twice as much trouble as before. But if it worked... The fireball guttered and dimmed and sank, finding itself slowly stifled. The green vapor ceased its expansion and lost some of its color. None of the new amulets were activated. Whew! The gamble had paid off. Nasa approached the vapor cautiously, seeing it become denatured. She used the dead demon on her horn as a crude broom to shove the vapor into the fire. The two joined instant battle, destroying each other. Stile broke off his music, and the battle intensified as its compass narrowed. The fire tried to burn up the vapor before the vapor could smother it. But the vapor was stronger. Soon the fire was out. Nasa mopped up the remaining vapor on the demon. Then, with a strong motion of her head, she hurled the demon directly at the Red Adept. The woman was caught by surprise. She scrambled off her couch just before the sodden demon landed. Her collected amulets scattered across the floor like so much jewelry. The green vapor sank into the material of the couch, rendering it uninhabitable, while the demon lay on it as if asleep. Stile had another inspiration. He had noticed that Red was careful which amulets she threw and which she kept. Obviously, some amulets served the invoker, while others attacked the invoker. Benign and malign spells, as it were. If he could get hold of some of the benign amulets, he could use them against her. That should turn the tide. But she was alert to the threat. She dived for the spilled collection, reaching it before Stile got there. Stile reacted with a spot decision he hoped he would not regret. "Each spell, farewell," he sang, willing all the amulets within range out and away from the castle. Since he was playing his harmonica, his magic should be strong enough to affect most of them. The result was confusion. His act of magic invoked all the nearby amulets, but it also banished them. They tried to animate and depart simultaneously. Since there were many of them, their magic outmassed his. Thus they were coming to life faster than they were moving out. Rapidly forming things and creatures were scrambling for the exits. One resembled a squid, crawling on its tentacles. Another was like a yellow sponge, rolling along, leaving a damp trail that stank of putrefaction. Several were bats or other flying creatures. Some were colored clouds, and some were blazes of light or darkness. One was a small flood of water that poured down through the crevices. Another was a noisy string of exploding firecrackers. Stile had to keep dodging and ducking to stay clear of them. His incantation had also abated his flying spell. He was confined to the floor again, where he didn't really want to be. For one thing, the Red Adept was there, avoiding creatures with equal alacrity. At the moment, she was trying to brush a swarm of tiny red spiders out of her hair. Both Red and Blue were now too busy to concentrate properly on each other. Why was he fooling with all these incidental spells, when he could solve the whole thing by simply abolishing the Red Adept herself? Maybe he had held back at the notion of killing a human being, despite his oath. But he thought again of the way Hulk had died, and his resolve firmed. "Red be dead," he sang. There was a kind of soundless implosion and explosion centering on the woman. Her clothing burst into smoke, but in a moment she stood naked and alive. "Fool!" she spat. "Knowest thou not that no adept can be destroyed readily by magic alone? Only the unguarded and vulnerable succumb." "But thy amulet killed the Blue Adept," he protested. "It never would have worked had he been properly paranoid. He was a trusting fool. Even so, I am surprised he did not save himself. Methinks he could have had he tried hard enough." As Stile had saved himself from the same spell, by fighting hard enough. He should have known it could not be that easy to abolish her. Otherwise, He could simply have uttered his spell from the sanctity of the blue domain and let Red die in her sleep. Many things were difficult against a person on guard. One stab with a knife could kill, but if that person were alert, the knife would never score, or would be turned against its wielder. Also, the White Adept had said his spells could not really hurt her. He had thought that mere bravado, but evidently it was not. Still, with the local amulets clearing out of the way, he had another option. Stile drew his sword. Then shall I slay thee without magic. Quickly she snatched a similar weapon from its place on the wall. Thinkest thou I am untrained in such arts? Look to thyself, midget. They engaged. She was proficient, and she had a longer reach than he. She was in superb physical condition, and had a fiery will to win. Yet this was the broadsword, Stile's preferred weapon. In this he was more than proficient. He was expert. He fenced with her, foiling her attacks readily, setting up for his proper opening. He could take her. Red realized this. Suddenly she stepped back into an opening behind the couch and disappeared. Stile plunged after her, but a panel slammed across, blocking him off. He hacked at it with his sword, and wood splintered, but by the time he cleared it, the Red Adept was gone. All right, well, that was Chapter 10. And I'm sorry for anybody who happens to be out there. If you are having some streaming issues here, I don't know why my stream was having an issue, and it still looks like my kilobytes per second are kind of fluctuating wildly for some reason. Not sure exactly why. I mean, I think it may have stabilized, but I am not certain. Anybody who's out there, can you let me know if it seems like it is streaming across correctly now? I just want to have an idea whether I should try to stop here or whether we are good to continue on. My wife tells me that the Wi-Fi